You guys that are listening to the recording, my name is Ryan. I'm with Accelerate Marketing. So I'm going to go through some case studies. The first case study is one that we produced, that we worked with Google to create. And I want to really emphasize two things. If you can get in early for LSA, please do it. I just got off the phone with a gentleman that owns a PI firm in Orlando. He was in early, and his comment was, I know what it feels like to be Morgan & Morgan. If you know Morgan & Morgan, they're the largest PI firm in the country, if not the world. And they just happen to be in Orlando. Yet this PI attorney that has a smaller firm, he did feel what it felt like to get that kind of lead volume, which is really why LSA was created, was to level the playing field for the smaller business owners with the larger ones. The opportunity is still there in some of these other verticals, especially with the law firm verticals. They're always releasing more verticals that allow businesses to run out local service ads. If you can do it early, you can get the lion's share of the market in the beginning, and then also just stay in there because you're able to get a lot of reviews. Because it really comes down to reviews, radius, and response time. Here you can see they got 300 leads in 1 month, 30 cases per month, and they got a 1,300% return on investment. That's a huge ROI. And this is the other big thing, is that it resulted in more quality leads and new business at about half the cost of pay per click. So if you guys don't know what PPC is, pay per click, it's what shows up below the local service ads or below Google screen. It's where it says ads. So typically there's anywhere between 1 and 3 businesses that are showing up there, but there's no picture, there's no social proof, there's no authority with the Google checkbox, and you're also not right at the top of Google. And that's the reason why we typically see in a lot of studies that about 40% of the clicks come from that top Google screen section. 40%, okay? 30% come from the maps, and about 40% come from the top. So if you do both, and that's why we offer both of those two services, that's what we do. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. And then if you add in reviews there, it really creates a long-term lead generation strategy for a business that can lead to a constant stream of new pre-qualified, pre-sold leads over the long haul. So this is another business here. You can see here that over 85% increase in the booking rate, 501% return on investment. This is a plumbing company. Here's another one, a home services company, 90% increase in booking rate, 1,570% return on investment. These are Google guaranteed because they're services-based businesses, plumbers, electricians, that sort of thing, as opposed to financial services, realtors, and attorneys. So the account setup is really simple. Typically, we can get an account set up, depending on how fast we get the information from our pros or the vendors that we're working with, anywhere between 3 and 7 days. That's like worst case scenario if we get all the correct information. The one thing that pros can have to add on their own is their billing. And so that needs to be added. There's a process completion verification tool that they have here that shows very simply if things are blue, it's not completed, and it tracks the progress all the way through the process. So if it's green, then it's done. This is why it's really important to really make sure that you're working with an agency, in my opinion, to make sure that everything's turned on correctly. And that's why we use CallRail, because we want to make sure that we're monitoring the response rate of the intake team so that we know that we're getting a good number of the calls answered and that response rate is greater than 90% or more, because response rate is really critical long-term for making sure that the lead volume continues. Pro tip, before you begin, make sure your license is up to date and active. One of the things that we definitely recommend. And then here's the insurance. So license insurance checks. These are two of the steps. And the pro tip is make sure that the document is complete, which includes signing, valid and not expired, includes the business name listed on your LSA ad, and has the type of liability that is checked for that particular vertical, be it general or professional, etc. The other thing is reviews. Reviews are all important, and it's not just the star rating, it's how many, how recent. And you can get verified reviews. One of the things that we do for our clients, including disputing calls for them, is that we can actually send out review requests, professional headshots, and then the next step is to optimize. So here's the back office of the LSA page. You can edit the budget, you can edit the job types, You can activate message leads. We do highly recommend that because it does give you about a 10% bump in lead volume, along with the booking feature as well. Turning that on can give you about a 10 to 15% bump. And look at your competition and see if they're using message or booking leads. If they're not, then that's a good indication that you probably want to do that, because there are people that do want to just message or book without talking to anybody. Okay. So if you offer that, you're going to get a nice increase in lead volume. And those leads are only about 50% of what the calls are. You can add photos, activate the message, like I said, edit the business hours. You definitely want your business hours to match your advertising hours. Some people's don't. Edit your service area and make sure it's optimized. I can't tell you how often that I see that it's not. The lead inbox, it is good to just move these. And this is what we do for our clients, is we move them from new to active to booked to completed or archived. It doesn't really help with your rankings, but what it does is if you use this, then the book near me will show up in your ad. So message leads, again, 50% of the cost of phone calls. A really good pro tip is to respond to those message leads quickly so that you get that little sentence below your ad in the search results that says typically replies within minutes. That will get you a lot more message leads, because typically your competitors are going to respond and it'll say it in hours or even days. And who do you think that people are going to go to if they see that you respond in minutes versus somebody that responds in days? Booking leads, here's that booking box there. Best practices, again, it's the 3 R's, radius, reviews, and responsiveness. Responsiveness is, like I said, is basically how quickly and how often you guys answer the phone. Reviews is not only how many you get, the recency of them is really important. So the radius, how close that you are to that searcher. And that's one that you really can't affect that much. If you do want to set up new locations, you can obviously affect the radius. One of the things that I like to say is it's not what we do to optimize, it's what we do to keep you out of the doghouse, so to speak. Because what happened today with this gentleman that called me from Orlando, the personal injury attorney, is, now his leads have dried up because there's some things that he did that he didn't know about, because he doesn't do this all day, every day. And he doesn't see a lot of different accounts and see what can cause the leads to stop. It's more of what we're preventing from happening as opposed to adding to get more leads. That's the bigger thing. We'd rather see you get a constant, consistent stream of leads. That's really the main thing that we're trying to do. And that's really it. If you want to learn more, to get our free 3R training, please text LSA to 619-304-5155. And then if you want to, for CallRail, if you want to get a free 14-day trial of call tracking, then you can go here, callrail.com/call-tracking. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.